The curtains have closed on the NBA season, and it for sure has been a fantastic one. The regular season, the inaugural in-season tournament, the ever so electrifying playoffs, every moment of play, per usual, has been a joy to watch. But as always, it's over. The champions have been crowned, the parade has been paraded, and as the players head home, rest up, and prepare in anticipation of next year, for front offices and GMs, the fun has just begun. Trades, signings, drafts, the offseason is here, and just like the regular season, it is not disappointed. Even before free agency starts, teams have been wheeling and dealing in an effort to get better, and without a doubt, it has been exciting. I'll lay out the major trades that have circulated this season and give you my thoughts on them. Did the teams make the right decision? Are they getting better? Are they getting worse? Well, I'll answer all these questions right here and right now. Buckle up. 1. The Denny Adia trade. Alright, this one baffled me. The full deal is this: Denny Adia to the Trailblazers for Malcolm Brogdon, the 14th overall pick, which turned into Bub Carrington, a 2029 first and 2 second rounders. That's a lot. Now, Denny Adia isn't a bad player. He easily had his best season this year and is only 23. But a quick glance at things, and this is a lot for a guy like him. Not only are they shelling out Malcolm Brogdon, who's probably a better scorer, but they give up 2 first-round picks alongside with that. What are the Trailblazers thinking? Now, I thought this initially when I saw the deal, but upon further inspection, it's not that bad. First off, the 2029 pick isn't that valuable. The Wizards gain rights to the second most valuable selection between the Bucks, Celtics, and the Trailblazers picks, meaning it's probably not going to be in the lottery or even in the top 20. Second, while scoring rise, Brogdon is the arguably better player. Denny is not only more of a complete player, as he's better defensively, and he's also a wing, which fits the Trailblazers a lot more than Brogdon, but he's also younger, as he's in his early 20s and cheaper by like $7 million. So the Blazers managed to clear an older cap casualty who wasn't a great fit for a younger, cheaper, better fit. That's not too bad. At the same time, trading away not 1 but 2 first-round picks is crazy. Not only that, traded a lottery pick too. It's not a perfect deal. Shoot, not even a great one. But I see the vision. You can argue this being an overpay, but I can also see a scenario where the Blazers just didn't value the players that they gave up. As for the Wizards, I like this deal better for them. Acquiring picks for a guy I assume they don't want would never be a bad idea, especially when you're hitting a hard reset like they are. I'm assuming they're gonna flip Brogdon to a contender for some more selections and keep it pushing. They got a lottery pick to pair with Alex Sarr. It's an easy win for them. I'll give it a B+. As for the Trailblazers, I can see it being an overpay, but the direction is there. Realistically, I don't think they lost out on too much with those 2 first-round picks, and they gained a better player for their roster, and they got some money too. Like I said before, they probably didn't value the 14th pick or Malcolm Brogdon and were willing to flip him. Honestly, I give it a B-. Second, the Alex Caruso trade. Coming fresh off of a conference semifinals L, the Thunder decided to spice things up and add the perfect player for their young contending team, Mr. AC Fresh. They traded him straight up for only Josh Giddey, and obviously I like the trade. Literally, what is there to not like? For any contending team ever, anywhere, you cannot go wrong with getting Alex Caruso on your team. There is no feasible universe where acquiring him as a contender would be the quote-unquote wrong decision. Actually, there is. There's one scenario, and that would be if they gave up too much for him. And guess what? They didn't even come close to that. Josh Giddey isn't a bad player by any means, not even close. But for the Thunder, he is a horrific fit. He's sort of in a similar situation that RJ Barrett was on the Knicks, except worse. To be effective, he has to have the ball in his hands. He provides nothing else on the court without the ball. Can't defend at all. Still a pretty bad shooter at this point in his career. He can only be productive when he's scoring or distributing off the bounce, which isn't inherently bad, but the fact is, he's just not that good at it. He's an inefficient scorer and not as good as a playmaker as you guys would think. And that sort of hinders the Thunder offense because he has a long line of guys ahead of him who also want to score off the bounce. And we saw that in the playoffs where he was basically unplayable due to his lack of versatility and his dependence on having the basketball in his hands. They definitely benefit from shelling him away. And not only do they benefit, they improved exponentially. Not only does Caruso fit like a glove, but he brings the championship winning experience this team's needs. For the Bulls, yikes. I don't hate this as much as a lot of individuals do. I honestly think that the idea to trade Caruso was a good idea. He's probably close to one of the most valuable role players in the league, and you get a good package to kickstart your rebuild with. The problem is the last part, the package part. They didn't get one. They got Josh Giddey. Now, I don't hate Giddey on the Bulls. They're a team that needs to hit the rebuild button, and by the looks of it, they're trying to clean house and start with a barren field. And you know the perfect guy to play on a barren field? Josh Giddey. I don't hate Josh Giddey and the role he'll play on the Bulls. Him as a primary ball handler on a team with low expectations could give him a good place to develop his abilities and truly blossom under a set assigned role. The problem is the misuse of him as an asset. Caruso is too valuable to just get Josh Giddey from it. Genuinely such a waste. I give them a D+. The Thunder easily get an A+. Second, Knicks Mikal Bridges trade. It's probably a trade of the offseason. Basically, the Knicks shelled out 5 firsts and Bogdan Bogdanovic for Mikal Bridges. Jesus Christ. Now, before I talk about this, I will let you know that I'm a Knicks fan, meaning the odds that bias is in this trade recap is close to 100. But still, you guys will hear my thoughts. I like this trade for the Knicks, kinda. The reasons why is kinda obvious. Mikal Bridges is awesome, especially as a Knick. He's a good 3-point shooter, can score well off the dribble, he's in a role where he can be an elite defender, and brings amazing vibes to the team. Shoot, it's an absolute no-brainer. He might be the best 3-and-D player in the league. The problem is how much they gave up. And I don't like haggling over picks, especially since the Knicks got a lot to spare, but 5 for a guy that you expect to be a role player is way too much, including a pick swap too in 2028. Oh my god. Now, it's not the biggest deal. 3 of them should be in the early 20s, but the 2029 one and the 2031 one hurt. Those are 2 very dicey selections far down the road that could turn into a nightmare, especially if the core of Chenzo, Brunson, OG, Randall, and friends age poorly. Still, it's 100% worth the risk when you get a guy like Bridges, but without a shadow of a doubt, it's an overpay. B-. Last trade, the Houston and Nets trade. Alright, this one's a little complicated. It's some pick exchange, but it's big. The Nets trade back for the 2025 pick rights and get their 2026 pick back. In exchange, they swap those pick rights over to the Thunder or Suns pick, whichever one's more favorable. They give them the 2027 Suns pick and the right to 2 of the 3 Nets picks in 2029, either the Mavs, Suns, or their own. Complicated, I know, but right off the bat, it's clear that the Rockets are gunning for KD. They traded for the rights to 2 of the Suns' future picks, which could be extremely valuable, along with gaining even more capital. And if this is positioning for KD, they did pretty well. And I know some people may not like it. I mean, gunning for a guy like KD, but why not? Why shouldn't they? Yeah, I know, after seeing the OKC way, the popular opinion is to quote-unquote be patient or whatever. But seriously, why shouldn't they? They were the 10th seed last year. It's not like they could talk their way to the start. I mean, they have solid pieces, veteran players, and could easily use a guy like KD. Why shouldn't they? It's easy to say be patient when you're not staring down team purgatory directly in the face like the Rockets are. Now, KD isn't going to single-handedly bring them a title. Duh. But 3 or 4 years of KD opens up a window for them to at least take a shot. Now, it depends on how much they give up. If they're shelling out core pieces like Sengun or Green, then I'll have to pass. But gathering some picks and Jabari Smith and maybe another young guy could potentially get the job done. I'll give the deal a B. We know nothing really about the plans for these picks. Finally, the Nets. I'm gonna combine the 2 deals they made into one review, since this sequence of moves made by Sean Marks may have uncooked the Nets. I think you guys know how down bad the Nets were before, I guess like 2 days ago. They shelled out a bunch of picks for James Harden to build a big 3. It didn't work out, so now they're stuck in the worst situation possible, being ass with no picks to dig themselves out of that hole. Nightmare fuel, I know. But thankfully for them, they made 2 moves that has the potential to turn this franchise around. One, they somehow got 5 first rounders for Mikal, which, Jesus Christ, which considering how much capital this team needs. 3 of these picks also have the potential to be super high selections down the road. For a team in this situation, this alone would already be a goldmine. But not only did Mr. Sean Marks manage to get a boatload of picks for Mikal Bridges, also managed to turn around and get his old picks back. For teams that find themselves in this situation, this is a dream come true. Because now, not only can they sit back, actively tank for Cooper Flag, they also have enough capital to build around it. A mastermind at work, I tell you. This isn't the first time Sean Marks had to do this, funnily enough. Remember the KG, Paul Pierce, and Joe Johnson debacle in the early 2010s? Yeah, he dug the Nets out of that hole and literally turned them into arguably the most talented team of all time. Seriously, Sean Marks really isn't spoken enough as a top GM in the league. Anyway, A+ trades, that's it for the offseason. So far, at least.